of Transitioning Humanitarians that we host every week. Welcome, Viki.
Thank you very much. Hello, Asel. Hello, everyone. We are great to be here on this Thursday again with a great subject of what do I need to take a
Yes,
decision.
exactly. So that's the topic that, because we wanted this season to be very applicational or very
Yeah,
pragmatic. So that's why, if you remember, we started the month with the decisions, right? And then diving into
yeah,
different types of like aspects of decision. And this time, Vicky suggested that we talk about what is it exactly that we really need? And Vicky, I thought that maybe we could like talk in
mhm,
terms of the pragmatic aspects of what do I need,
yeah,
and then the mindset part of what do I need. So let's start with the pragmatic one. What would you say?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Absolutely. Very good thinking. Maybe I will go a step even before that. Is that why are we actually talking about it? What do I
Mm,
need? Because very
mm,
often we tend to sort of linger on the
yeah,
decisions. We tend to be like, because it's difficult. And so I think it's really important to frame this in order to move forward, to frame this and say, okay, so what do I need to take a decision so that I don't find myself, and we alluded to that last time, I don't find myself 6 months, 1 year later, still being with this decision, not having taken
yeah,
decision. So, one of the first things I will say, and this is a bit, it's something positive, but it can be also come out as negative for for people needing to decide. That's information.
mm,
Because I think it's something very practical, right? We always say we need to know this, we need to know how much I will earn, we need to know what do I need to get this job. But that's also sort of a double-edged sword, because that we can always also find ourselves thinking, um, well, I don't have enough information. I don't have enough information. So we can also sort of artificially extend the sort of this thinking and subconsciously find a reason that this is the reason why I cannot transition or why I can't take a decision. But in fact, the decision is somewhere much deeper, and it's probably linked to fear or anxiety or something else. So I would say
yeah,
one of the very important things is to have certain information, but I would say don't let's not expect that we will have 100% all the information, because we will never have that. What are your thoughts about
yeah.
that? Oh,
Exactly. I was also thinking that how to make it very practical. And one of the
yeah.
things that examples that comes to mind is that imagine you are going on a like the one of a lifetime assignment that you received in, let's
Mhm,
say, Addis Ababa. I don't know. I can like a capital
mhm.
that pops to my head.
Not a bad choice. Good
I
choice.
know. I was also thinking that I could go there. Exactly. So imagine you are going there and you receive like the greatest offer possible, and you
Mhm,
go there in a month's time. And in order to get ready for that, you naturally will ask, what do I need? Right? So and then you are very focused, you are very like on purpose. What's the job, how long you will be moving there for, and you will probably ask the people, the exact people, for exact information of
mhm.
how's life there, how what do I need, right? So you will be very like, you wouldn't be walking around wandering around asking different types of questions, because remember, this is a very desirable job offer that you're receiving, so you're going there, right? So that's why you will be like excited. At the same time, you get ready in a way that is very pragmatic. You will be probably thinking about the job conditions, you'll be thinking about medical coverage or whatever the other things. You will book your ticket. So you can see that our brains love this direction, our brains love this clarity,
Mhm,
certainty. So that's why whenever you are asking your question, I would love to offer that, I think in terms of these type of scenarios. Imagine if you had
mhm,
something very concrete, in a time frame that you allow yourself, and then to get to that destination, what is it that you need, like in terms of pragmatic things, but also in terms of mindset of how do you approach it, how do you get ready for that job, right? How do you, what are the things that you really need to practice or read about? Maybe you will read about country information, right? So
Mhm.
these type of things, and we tend to know
Yeah,
this very well when we are in the humanitarian setting, I find, but maybe when we are planning for something that we have never done this before, we get so much of a vague, like
yeah,
searching for information, like you are saying, Vicky, without really like understanding what is it exactly that you're looking for, right? So that's why I would love to encourage to approach it in that manner, so that you have like a structure, you have a direction, a focus, and the time frame within which you have the answers that you are looking for.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yes.
Yeah. So anything else pragmatic?
Yeah, the second thing I would say, so that we talked about information, the second thing I would suggest, get support. Now, what does it mean, support? Because, okay, why am I saying it? It's because transitioning out of the sector, we know it's not an easy thing. If it was, we wouldn't be talking about it, because you would have easily switched. So get some support. Somebody, it can be a person, but maybe it's not a person. Maybe it's an item. Maybe it's something else that is meaningful for you. That is either close to your mind or to your heart, or that will be accompanying you, because we will be, as we've mentioned several times, there will be moments of frustration, there will be moments of fear, and there will be moments maybe of anxiety, or just loads of questions. So it's important to fall back on something, to be able to find some consolation. And now, so that's why I'm saying support. It could be a good friend, but here I also would like to I would like to specify that someone who knows you well, someone who will support you but not judge you, or maybe I would even say not necessarily give you advice.
Mm.
Someone who will be there for you, listen to you, and encourage you to really reach your potential, or to reach for the best thing that you want for yourself and for your life. um, the danger here, and again I think we need to mention, is that if it's someone that maybe knows you well but also has a tendency to judge, to say, oh, this is not a good thing, this is bad thing, and why don't you try this, that will mislead you, because the person will be good intentioned, I have no doubt, but the person, even if it's their best friend, will not know 100% what is the best thing for you. So here again, if there is such a person, or maybe it's, maybe it could be a prayer for someone, or I know people who have their little stone who that reminds them. It could be different things, but I summarize it as a support.
Yeah,
What are your
sounds
thoughts on this,
good.
Asel?
Yes, I think also, like I was thinking, what could be something stabilizing, or something that, or
Hmm.
someone, right, who gives you the
Yeah,
stability or the safety that you may need in the times of unpredictability, basically. And I think for that reason, there might be many different people or things that we can rely on. I know that a lot of people tend to have also a place that they always go back to, right? I think Vicky, you were
hmm,
talking about that. I'm more of like the, maybe also the person that I want to go back to the every time, so that you will know who's your best support in that place. And
hmm.
also, I think what we're getting good at nowadays is that seeking support in the place where we're going, right? Without even reaching arriving there. I've seen so many amazing like platforms where this is happening all the
Yeah,
time. And
yes,
and if you're not this type of person who's like extrovert, or who you think that you're not the extrovert person, or the person who easily communicates with others in the new place, it's okay. Then you will know maybe there are other means that you can rely on without necessarily relying on those groups. So some of the things that comes to mind is like activities that people may be able to do in that area where you're going to, right? That could be another ways to start connecting with people, or even if the activities are too much or you are not able to do those activities, then you can always create your own routines within that
Yeah.
place so that you have at least something like that you always know that this structure is there for you, right? It could be many different things that you do even at home in
Mhm.
your own like room even, right? So that those things could be always there to support you even if the external situation is not the way you want to. So maybe the other things that we could talk about the mindset around this, but I
Mhm.
don't know if you have any others that you want to add to this
No, we can talk
pragmatic
about
part.
mindset. I think it's very good. And in fact, I would like to mention not only mindset, but also heart set, because that's, I think, important. So,
Yes,
yeah.
exactly. I think also the other thing that's a good point is that whenever I think of mindset, I think of like the mind and the body, but absolutely, this
Yeah.
is what we mean, right? So that always relying on, is this really what I want to be
Mhm.
doing it, especially beyond the excitement
Yeah.
stage, because excitement stage will happen for many activities that we undertake, and what happens afterwards is more like we're interested in, especially in terms of transitioning. So that's why talking about the mind and the heart will be the key here. So let's start with that,
Mhm.
Viki. What would you say, like, the absolute necessary mind heart set
Mhm.
one needs?
Yeah. Well, obviously, they need to be open. I think that's. I think it's things that we know. That of course, yes, I need to have an open mind and I need to have an open heart to be able to accept, to see the opportunities, to notice the opportunities. But maybe it's easier said than done because we often, and the longer we've been in the aid or development sector, the more the routines are in our minds, right? The neuropathological pathways have been formed, and very often I would see, and I remember myself as well. I was doing it when somebody encouraged me to think differently in terms of looking. This was before I knew I was going to become a coach, but when somebody encouraged me to think differently and why don't you look at this job, I would sort of put barriers. I said no, that's
Mm,
impossible because I have either more. I always found a reason, either because I found more experience or without have necessarily having sufficient information. So I really want to say it's important to really keep an open mind. And if you're
mm,
not sure, if you have an open mind, there are actually very, very simple, like 1 minute or 2 minutes sort of quizzes or assessment that you'll find online that are easy to use as well. But it's really absolutely crucial because if we don't have an open mindset, we will dismiss a lot of the opportunities that might be coming our way that maybe are not sort of packaged in the beautiful way that we expect or that we
mm,
think we should be receiving it. So here, this is why I would say really once you know what you're looking for, right? And that's we have talked about it, and I think we will also dedicate a little bit of time. Really try to see opportunities that maybe you wouldn't have considered half a year ago. So that's why
mm,
I would summarize this really importance to consider all the options and then
mm.
you know see sift
Yeah,
through those.
yeah. The For me, I think the most important part in my own transitioning was um, who do I really want to become in this journey,
Yeah.
or who do I want to go through in this journey? And one of the things that really helped me in my journey is to think that I can do anything I want in life.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
and I think, for many people it could be different belief systems or different things that we really truly believe in. And having that, I think, always like something to rely on, something that even if there will be difficulties, there will be like things that don't go the way that we expect. And in those moments, not to be lost or not to be like unprepared, and instead always seeing ourselves the people who can do this, who can go through this, who can handle those challenges that we don't know yet what they will be, but they will be. And
Mhm.
who do we want to go through that process? Because I think for me personally, what was important in that journey is that I tend to have lots of like before the victim mindset of, oh my
Mhm.
God, all
Yeah.
this happening to
Yeah.
me, how could this, da da da, and like self pity and all the other things that I talk a lot about. And I really didn't want to be that person
Yeah.
anymore. And
Yeah.
in this journey, what I really like told myself that what I really need is the strong mind in the sense of I'm the one who's in charge of making things work, even if in times when my brain will say it's not working, things are not,
Mhm.
da da da.
Yeah.
And then I will always rely on myself to say, no, I'm the one who will make it work. And of course, I have, got lots of coaching around it, and I have lots of support people who help me
Yeah.
in this journey, but I still wanted to highlight this part of whatever your opinion about yourself now is. Like,
Mhm.
oftentimes we tend to think of, oh, I'm not good at this, I'm not good at that, or
Yeah.
I don't really have self confidence, or I don't have courage, or whatever the things that you believe you don't have. You can actually decide to have them and start
Yeah.
gathering new evidence for it.
Yeah.
Even if the past was not the way that you expected, you can still start from as of now that I really need this type of mindset, this type of attitude, or this type of approach to go through this. Otherwise, it will be like doubting the whole time, second guessing the whole time, and
Mhm.
then adding more suffering that may not be needed, especially when we're already dealing with the challenges of
Mhm.
unpredictability, challenges of
Yeah.
getting to know our new lives or different lives, right? So
Mhm.
that's why I would really highlight this aspect of getting curious and also deciding that you are this person who makes this type of decisions and
Mhm.
who makes this type of things happen,
Yeah.
even though you may not know all the things.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. What you're saying is super important because we tend to have a lot of judgment about ourselves, those exactly that you mentioned. And that's why for me it's really linked to open mindset because we need to sort of lift or push this negative talk or self-judgment. And that's why actually when I talk about transitions as well with my clients, I always mention actually heart, mind, and heart set as number one. That's
Mm.
really the most crucial thing because if that is not right, if you are not really accepting all the possibilities for yourself, and that really that you can be so much more that you've been, or like grow so much more, then it's difficult to advance. So yes, thank you for mentioning it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I think one of the things that the example that often comes is in Kiev. In fact, I think
Mhm.
maybe there's still a huge advertisement
Mhm.
of the Under Armour brand.
Mhm.
And there is this actor, I don't know his name unfortunately, but anyway, he says that the strength is in the mind, right? Even though
Yeah.
he's like a big guy with like muscles and all the
Yeah.
things, but
Yeah.
he was saying that strength is in the mind, and I love that quote simply also because like no matter how strong we believe physically or like health wise,
Yeah.
which is amazing, but we really need that mind strength,
Mhm.
heartstrings, whichever the way you want to see it, to go through that, even if things like, especially in hard times, right?
Yeah.
And always reminding ourselves that that's where we really need to tap into our resources
Mhm.
rather than believing that we need to get something from outside, or even
Yeah.
though maybe that could be helpful at the time, but still we need that internal resources to always rely on to go through that. The other thing, maybe Vicky, you could mention about um, there will be the tough times when we
Mhm.
transition. What do we need there? Like beside the things that we already talked, because what is like
Mhm.
your, I don't know, the tool that you go to when things get like not the way you want to.
You know, I go exactly to the mindset, to rephrasing when you say that, exactly the victim attitude or some of the other sort of judgmental thoughts. I go and rephrase it in my mind, or I look at the different perspective. But different perspective always brings opening. Different perspective always brings opening to what how if we are stuck in our vision and says this is not working, this is not working, you need to zoom out and take a different perspective. What I sometimes do, and it may sound almost banal, but you know, I ask myself and also my clients, so who is your hero? Who is somebody that you really respect and look up to? How would that person deal with the situation? It's very simple. It's almost, as I said, it's super simple, but it immediately shifts your perspective, and you really immediately like expand your mindset,
Yeah,
because you have respect for that person. And if you look at your issue from the perspective of the person, it's immediately like, oh, of course. And oh,
yeah,
honestly, every time I ask this question, there is always an opening, and very often even an aha moment that, oh, right, yes. So
yeah,
I would mention that. I also would like to talk a little bit about the heart set.
yeah,
We
absolutely.
mentioned it a little bit. You know, from my perspective, because you know, the heart set is, I believe it's very important that it's also open, because that's where we're going to be accepting new people coming into our lives. Like, yes, mindset, of course, is crucial, but the relationship is more emotional, and we will be meeting new people. People maybe that, if we are really exploring the new journey and new places where we want to go, it's important to also tap into networks or new people that we haven't met before. And here, really, I would say it's important to have open heart, because it's important to allow new relationships, new friendships to form. It doesn't mean, of course, that every person that you encounter is going to become your friend, but new acquaintances. And sometimes really there will be people that will genuinely be very helpful, will come and really will be placed into your world to teach you something, to guide you. So I think that's why it's important to also keep this, be aware of this, and not maybe reject if someone comes with an idea that you know, you find like, ah, and but if you think about it, you might accept the idea, or you might even start befriending the person, or forming sort of a professional relationship or some sort of mentoring relationship. So I thought this is important as well, to keep it in mind, right? Keep it in the heart.
Yeah, absolutely. And the other thing I was thinking of is always there is this like whenever we have dilemmas, whenever we are not really sure if this is the right path or if this is how we're going to go or if this is working, whatever the questions that pop up along the journey, I find the question that's so helpful is how would I reply to this or how would I respond to this? Really coming from my trusting place, so coming from my
Yeah.
feeling confident or feeling whatever the thing that you think you like when you feel that you really have the wisdom that you want, right? Maybe for some people it's the peace that you want to feel, for some people it's the grounded, for some people it's a certain freedom within that you feel, and once you have that feeling, and then how would you really respond to that? And I find that whenever we ask that questions, things clarify faster and we know what we need in that moment, like what kind of answers we need in that moment, instead of um, panicking or like, why do I not know the answer? I should know the answer. I am an adult, or whatever the way that we start then getting into the spiral,
Mm-hmm.
which is not necessary, right? So that's why whenever Like for instance, I also feel when I'm having like failures that I go through or the things that didn't go the way that I want to, then
Mhm.
after going through those emotions and feeling those things, and then I start then asking myself, okay, if I really trusted my my gut or however the way that it
Yeah.
feels right for you,
Mhm.
intuition is another way
Yeah.
people use it.
Yeah.
How would
Yeah.
I really handle it, right? How would I really solve it?
Yeah. Mhm.
And also always reminding yourself that you always have the wisdom to solve things, even though in those moments it's difficult to believe or like it's difficult to access that because we're so much in the drama maybe, right? And that's okay. The drama I find is only the like surface level reaction, and then once that reaction is out, in my case I just tend to observe the drama that's happening, and once it's gone,
Mhm.
then I can
Yeah.
start looking at, okay, how would I really solve it? I know there can be a solution, or maybe it's something that you don't really want to solve it either, right? So that could be also a good thing to know. Is I think we mentioned in other series of, is it really something that I want to be solving or not? Is this really necessary, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes
Mhm.
maybe it's not necessary. Sometimes
Yeah.
it's like one
Yeah.
of those rhetorical situations that we
Yeah.
just need to I don't know, uh, express our disagreement about it
Yeah.
and then and then move on. So that's why I really
Yeah.
want to advocate basically to strengthen that personality that you really believe can handle any situation,
Yeah.
and then
Mhm.
strengthen that with everything that you can in terms of um, then gathering new evidence of how that's true, how you are the person who can handle XYZ, how you can handle unpredictable situations, how you can handle situations that you never thought you would be in, right? Because humanitarians are
Yeah.
good at being in situations that we never thought we would be in.
Yeah.
And then somehow we manage it. Sometimes we fail, but we also know that yes, we did fail, but next time we'll be better and smarter and we learn from it.
Yeah.
So that's why
Yeah.
I want really to like recognize and think about, if you were to visualize like a luggage for your mindset, heart set, uh, what would that luggage contain, right?
Mhm.
How would that
Yeah.
prepare you? And the way that I think of it is like it definitely has like certain qualities and skills, like confidence, like courage, like trust, I don't know, audacity, whatever the terms that helps you be strong. I find that is helpful to always come to. Anything, Vicky, you
Yeah.
want to add?
I love your metaphor, the suitcase for the mindset. That's fantastic, and yeah, I can only confirm really what you're saying. To tap into your inner strength and inner mindset and heart set. That's the most crucial of all. That's the most important equipment to have. Everything else you can find out either later or externally, but what we have within ourselves to tapping into our inner leader, to tap into our inner strength, whatever you call it, that's absolutely the most important. And equally, what you mentioned, the importance of, yes, so we have the data, we have the analysis, we have our super minds, but let's not underestimate intuition. We can't, intuition, like, I even wrote for myself a quote from Einstein because I really love what he says. That's why I have it even on my website, because it says the intuitive mind is a sacred gift and the rational mind is a faithful servant. So really not to, we have a tendency to suppress our intuition, but there is always a message that our intuition is telling us. So use both. The super analytical mind and the smartness and wisdom and knowledge we have, but don't suppress your intuition when it's trying to tell you something. So
Yes,
yeah, I believe that after this,
amazing.
we only want to hear you say that yes, I have taken the decision, and I'm going forward, or I'm whatever I'm doing.
Yes,
Okay.
exactly. And also just maybe to give a final thought about um, even though sometimes we get ready, we have like the whole list of things that we want, we somehow have all of that, but still, if there is the missing feeling, like I still can't make a decision, even though like we tend to say things like intellectually I understand, or like my gut
Yeah.
feeling I understand, but still there's something missing. You can give yourself time, but get really clear as to what that is. And
Yeah.
maybe
Yeah.
whenever that's happening, there might be an element of you not being honest with yourself, and get curious as to what that is telling you, because usually whenever
Yeah.
we have that type of feeling, like we have everything ready but still there is something is not right, or something is
Mm-hmm.
not making me move forward, right? So it could be like fear we often talk about. It could be something definitely missing, or it could be a signal that even though you have all the things, but you really want something else. And being honest with yourself, and allowing
Yeah.
yourself your truths come out in that moment
Mm-hmm.
would be crucial for you to then say, okay, yes, I know it all makes sense this way, but what I'm really wanting, or what I'm really like my heart and intuition, whatever the within the wisdom is saying, that this is my truth, this is what I really want. And then that's always good to know, and also exploring that truth more, right? So that's why don't be afraid of like learning about yourself in that process, and then having all the things out, like just like in the packaging, like when we would be packing our luggages. I don't know how you do it, but I take all the things out, and then and then I start putting things into the luggage, right? So it could be similar things of like getting all the things out, and then like, okay, what do I really need
Yeah.
from this list,
Could be one
right?
way.
And then exactly, so you could also
Mm-hmm.
try that. Okay, having
Mm-hmm.
said that, Vicky, anything final words before we say?
There was something at the top of my tongue, but it just has evaporated. So I think it really means that we really hope that this has been useful for you, and there is a decision, a discussion on decisions, and we really hope that you are very close to taking a decision, whatever it is, whatever is the best one for you.
Yes, exactly. And while you were talking, I really had another thing that came up, but I think we will explore this more in the next one as well, which is take also temporary decisions, right? That could also be
Okay.
something to
Yeah.
explore. I do that sometimes. I tell myself, okay, this is my decision for now, and then I give myself time to see what comes up after my decision, right? And then my brain will start like having new ideas of what I need, or how I
Mm-hmm.
need, or how I need to think differently. And then I will explore that as well. So that's why it's always interesting also to give yourself like time to say, okay, this is my decision for now. I may change it like in the next few days if I want to, but for now, this is what I have decided. And in that moment, also some of the truths may come up that we didn't really expect. So try that out as well and see how that goes. Okay, my dears, thank you so much, Vicky, and thank
Thank
you
you.
everyone for watching and being with us. And also, we're looking forward to hearing your decisions around this, or around any other topic that you've been having currently. And we invite you to the monthly meeting that we'll be hosting. So you let us know about your um, journeys in that meeting. We would love to hear more about it. It will be on 27th, I
Yeah.
believe. So you let us know your email, and then we'll send out the
Mm-hmm.
invite beforehand. Thank you, Vicky.
Thank you, Asel.
So
Thank you, everyone.
see you next
See you next
Thursday.
week.
Mhm.
Bye bye.
Bye.